What's happening, everybody? James Hancock here. I am here to do my very first video game walkthrough that I have ever recorded, and I'm going to be doing it with Dark Souls. As you can gather, I actually am recording after the playing. I'm not enough of a pro gamer to be able to record and play at the same time, so it's going to be more kind of commentary on my walkthrough as opposed to live commentary. But here I'm going with a Sorcerer, and I'm going with the Master Key. I recommend every player do the same. You will thank me because it definitely gives you access to some areas early in the game. The rest is purely cosmetic. I'm going to try to hit every single quest line or subplot or item that I can in the game. Some NPC quests, if you do them, you can't do others, but I will explain that as I go. So if it's your first time playing a Dark Souls game, get ready, because your very first Dark Souls game ever is always the toughest until you kind of learn how to play the game, but I'm going to be teaching as I go. Here's a glimpse at a future boss who's going to be a total beast later on, but you don't have to worry about him for a very long time. And I'm killing this trash here, not because I have to, just because if I'm walking by something and they're not fighting back, why not grab the souls? But some pro players probably ignore them and just spend their time elsewhere, but I don't know, I'm just getting started out and getting warmed up. As you can see, I'm two-handing my broken blade there just to get a little extra damage. Broken blade's totally worthless. I'm going to replace it as fast as humanly possible. I cannot cast my soul arrows yet because I need a catalyst. Sorcerers can't cast their spells without a catalyst. Hitting the bonfire here, these are very, very important. Bonfires obviously give you a chance to heal, give you a chance if you're a spellcaster to pick which spells you're using. I have 2 open slots because I'm starting with very high attunement, but it'll be a while before I get a chance to fill those slots. Also, I'm just showing here, there's a locked door. Dark Souls, one of the best things about it is the secrets and the shortcuts and the dungeon design, and part of the fun of it is always discovering those shortcuts and then putting them to use. This is the very first boss of the game, but unless you're a total badass, you are not ready for him. So as you can see, I'm going to skip his ass and run down to the left and grab some more gear. Another bonfire, but yeah, going back to dungeon design, this game has the most awe-inspiring maps and design that I've ever seen, because it's not a linear design. You kind of go backwards and forwards and up and down and find shortcuts, and there's just never been another game quite like it, not even Dark Souls 2 and 3, which both have some amazing levels, but you pretty much can just play it straight through. This game really requires, or this game rewards a really in-depth knowledge of the game. Here I'm just looking at some of my gear, picked up my first shield. Shields are crucial for parrying attacks, blocking attacks, and now I'm going to get my first weapon, the dagger. And I think I'm going to play with the dagger the whole way through because it's super lightweight. I want to keep my weight really, really low. In Dark Souls 1, if your weight is, or the gear you're carrying is 25% of your total capacity, you can move really, really quickly. There's a couple different speeds, but I like the fastest. I'm working for the backstab here, trying and unsuccessfully, but there I got the backstab. Backstabs are fucking awesome. If you parry or if you just get behind someone, you can usually pull it off, but it just takes a little practice and to get the timing down, but it's always very satisfying. Just looking up here, that's an item that's going to be very important later in the game. That's a dead end, but we're going to come back for that ring later on. And here's our first big trap, and we're just going to jump out of the way of that. It opens up a secret passage to a very, very important NPC who's going to give us our Estus flasks, or shards. I can't remember, Estus flasks I believe they're called, but they allow us to heal. He's also going to give us a key. I'm just playing a little bit of his dialogue. I've always found the dialogue in Dark Souls to be so eerily atmospheric and creepy. And what's cool is that the series doesn't hold your hand in any way, shape, or form. You're kind of supposed to infer, and so obviously people use the internet and guides to figure the shit out, but the first people who really figured things out just must have been geniuses, because so many players and NPCs in this game that you encounter just give you little hints, but they kind of laugh evilly and they're half going insane or they've gone hollow, and it's this great enigma that you're always trying to piece together. But I've played Dark Souls all the way through now a couple of times, and so most of it is starting to make sense to me. Anyway, as you saw, I just opened up that secret passageway. I don't really need it, but it is a shortcut, so I just want to demonstrate that. Moving in for the old backstab and getting it. Very nice. And now, up ahead, I'm going to get the Catalyst, which will allow me to be a sorcerer in action as well as in name. I've always loved wizards, going back to the days of like reading the Dragonlance books and being obsessed with Raceland. So that's just one of the reasons I'm always drawn to the class. Oh, that motherfucker tried to hit me. I'm just gonna zap his ass. It's gonna be a lot of rolling back and standing back and zapping. But if you want to conserve your spells, I highly recommend using your backstabs and melees whenever it's convenient. If it's one guy, just go ahead and just take his ass out, because your spells, at least initially, are going to be in short supply. But I'm going to show you a few tricks for getting a pretty big arsenal of spells early in the game. Another backstab. Booyah. Through that gate is the boss, which we're about to take on in a sec. But this guy's a little tougher. He's got a shield, so I'm just going to hang back, blast him a few times. But what I love about this game is that even from the outset, it's pretty challenging, and ever since the days since I retired from World of Warcraft, I'm always yearning for really, really great gaming challenges that kind of match that exhilaration, and Dark Souls is the closest that I've come. Be sure to two-hand your weapon, target the boss, drop down, and boom! 1/3 of his health is already gone. Silent Demon's not that tough, but it's just really, really fun getting that big kill shot in. But going back to the WoW thing, like, killing a boss with 24 other people is one of the most exhilarating things you can do in gaming, and it's just, I don't have the time due to my podcast and some of my film writing and animation work to really do hardcore raiding anymore, but the challenge of Dark Souls is a very close second place. And I mean, like I said, the first time I played it, I gave up. I couldn't handle it. Just learning how to play Dark Souls and understanding how to customize your gear and how to min and max your ability scores is really, really important, because whatever class you choose to play, you don't want to waste any souls or any gear on anything you don't have to. You really just want to amplify a few key stats. In the case of this character, I'm going to be going after, obviously, getting my sorcery as powerful as possible. Down here is a little nest where you can drop off items and get special stuff. It's kind of a recurring theme in all three Dark Souls, but it's kind of a pain in Dark Souls 1 because you have to log in and out of your character in order to pick up whatever you drop or whatever reward you get for what's dropping. Skipping cinematics, because this first couple of videos I'm making with my Xbox recorder, which only allows me to make little short videos, so I don't want to waste any time on cinematics. This guy is giving me some clues about what to do. I can either go up or down to hit 2 Bells of Awakening. The easier one is up, so we're going to focus on that one first. But this guy, for the most part, is going hollow, going crazy, and we're going to get to kill him later on when he totally loses his shit. I've never really understood the whole idea of like going hollow versus being undead. The lore of Dark Souls can be fascinating but contradictory, but basically we're undead, and periodically we can find humanity, which allows us to become human again. Being human's awesome because you can summon people, things like that. But for whatever reason, some people just go hollow, and I don't know if that's because they're becoming depressed or they're just giving up. But once they go hollow, they're just fucking crazy and they're coming after you, and it's part of just one of the eerie atmospheric parts of the game. But we're here in Firelink Shrine, which is kind of the central main hub of the game. We're going to be coming here a lot. I could use some souls right now to level up, and I'm saving for spells, but just you can see there, I've got enough to put a couple points in. And as you can see, I still got those 2 open slots for spells. So what I'm going to do is go buy my first spell for 2,000 souls. That, I mean, sorcerers, if you get a couple spells early on, you can just nuke people. This girl is going to be the person we use to reinforce our Estus flasks, but you have to bring Firekeeper souls, and there are not that many in the game. I don't even know if you can fully get all +6 on your flasks in one playthrough. You can definitely get up to +5, which we will be going through, but I don't know if you can get to +6 unless you go into New Game Plus. But these walkthroughs, I probably won't be going into New Game Plus, unless it's just to demonstrate how to get some cool spell that you can only get in New Game Plus, which is always a possibility with the spellcasters. But here I am. I'm turning back because I realized that one of the things I really want to do is go after a Firekeeper soul. But in order to go after it, I need to have Homeward Bones. And so I am running up to get my Homeward Boners, as some people call them. Homeward Bones are basically an item that allow you to teleport back to whatever bonfire you were at most recently. They're super, super useful. I'm just fucking up right here, not going up the right path. Am I gonna figure it out? Nope, I think I've got it wrong again. Sometimes I'm just not a very intelligent player. I think this is me second guessing if I should just stop the video and start over, but finally I realized, you know what, let's just continue. And there's gonna be so many times where I humiliate myself that I can't really stop videos and start over every time I make a stupid mistake. This is our first chance to join a covenant. I'm going to join it just because why not? And I want to learn the gesture. The spells he offers are for basically healers and things like that, people who are into like throwing lightning bolts and all that sort of thing. But I'm just going to be going pure sorcery, so I'm not going to worry about his spells. But I'm just going to join his covenant because I might be able to help some other people or get some help from others early on in the game, which is always useful. The only covenants I'm going to clear are ones that are absolutely crucial for the story or for getting spells that I want. But for a playthrough, it's just not realistic to invest a whole bunch of time into doing covenants. But covenants are super cool if you plan on staying in the game for a long time, being part of the community, doing a lot of PvP. All that shit is really, really cool, but not appropriate for a walkthrough series. But maybe once I've done with all my walkthroughs, then I'll go back and do some PvP videos. I usually am pretty bad at PvP, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I kind of enjoy being invaded by people. It adds a little bit of excitement, a little unpredictability to the game. But there are some people who just do PvP, and if you encounter them, they are going to fuck you up because they have devoted all their time and energy into excelling at it. For me, it's just a useful, kind of exciting sideline of the game. But for me, more than anything, I just like exploring these incredible worlds. But now I've got the ability to invade worlds with this cracked red-eye orbs. I'm just not able to do so yet. I think you have to find your first ivory soapstone before you can actually invade other people's worlds. But as you can tell here, I'm looking at it. I'm going to mess with it a little bit, but you can tell it's not able to be used quite yet. So I might do a little invading just to demo. These skeletons, I don't recommend you fuck with them anytime early on in the game, but there's a few little souls in the area that you can snag if you move quickly and don't let them gang up on you. But these guys, they rise up and they can very quickly overwhelm you, and they like blocking you in so that you can't roll out of the way. But I got a few lucky rolls there and escaped, so those souls will be useful shortly. But yeah, this whole opening area, Firelink, has some interesting stuff kind of tucked away. If you explore it for a couple minutes, you'll pretty much find everything. But later on, we'll be coming back here and using it as a hub to travel back to the original starting zone because there are a few crucial items back there. There's also like a gateway to the very end of the game, so you just keep coming back here over and over and over again. So get to know this place really, really well, and it will work to your advantage. Now, I believe I'm about to head downtown or down under because I'm going to buy a spell from my first vendor. It's also a vendor who is going to be doing the magic enchants on gear later on in the game. But as you can tell, I'm going to say this again and again and again. I just love the vertical modeling or the vertical design of all the dungeons here. You're constantly in danger of falling. You're constantly in danger of walking off things. And I just find it fascinating. So many games are horizontally oriented. This game is vertically oriented, and it just really requires you to think about the map and how you move and how you fight in a totally different way. Or you're just going to be dying to gravity over and over and over again, which is, sorry about that beep in the background. That's something that I've got downloading from the Xbox. But yeah, this place has got a lot of people who've gone hollow. They're pretty harmless. They're just lying around crazy and depressed. This guy, he's not gone hollow yet, but he's probably pretty close. He's just this creepy, weird little dude who's hiding in a cage, but likes blacksmithing and likes selling gear, but more importantly, he also sells spells. And if you can load up a couple different spells early on in the game, you can just play and play and play without stopping and just nuke people down, even if you don't have very, very high ability scores. So here I am going to spend 2,000 of my precious souls on getting another soul arrow, which will be incredibly useful. Now the next part of what I'm going to do is kind of dangerous. It's useful if you want to have an early bonus, but there is risk involved. But since I only got 356 souls, I'm not that worried about taking the risk. So yeah, I'm going to take a crack at it. Basically, there's a Firekeeper soul, but to get access to it, some really scary fuckers are going to be coming after me, people that I can't even hope to fight. But if I can just dodge them and avoid them, Best case scenario, I get the Firekeeper Soul and teleport out with the Homeward Bone. Worst case scenario, I don't get anything, but I will hopefully be getting the Firekeeper Soul and then teleporting out. But even if I get killed, it will be worth the risk. So I'm going to press pause here and bring this video to a close, and I will begin the next video with my attempts at getting that soul. But hope you enjoyed this. Follow me on Twitter at Colbrax, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.